What is this? Moderation helps everyone feel safe. I don't have time to read. Pop out your stream dashboard. Monitor the same screen. What? Welcome to chat. It's 6:45 now. Welcome to chat. Reminder to guard your privacy. And so now I want to record this. And I actually learned this. I actually did. I did.
Recording?
I learned how to record all this, but for some odd reason, I'm not able to do it right now. I don't know why.
So it's all ready to go. Okay, now we got to get the screen right
What's green right?
where we're centered.
Wait, does it say we're live?
No, I guess.
Look, it says live, 53 seconds.
Okay.
And it's streaming.
All right.
Okay.
Screen right. We look crazy. I look crazy.
We really should not be going live right now. We really shouldn't be.
My eyes
It
closed.
says one. You can tell we don't know what we're doing. I know what you're doing.
See, I look okay over there. Here, my head leaning the wrong way.
No, I agree. Mine, I feel the same way.
Because this camera's opposite of that.
Yeah.
Turn it more this way so they both be the same.
Like that?
Bring it down some. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's better.
Are we live? I think we're live because this is where they can run chats and stuff at right there. Welcome
Okay.
to the chat. Okay, got it. Okay. Alrighty. It's not 6:45 yet. I'll learn. It's my first time. What time? Okay, this says 6:43. This says
6:40.
6:41. The computer is wrong.
My will open up.
I feel the same way we got all.
See, this picture looks good.
It does, and it's
This
better
picture
camera.
looks like we're.
The opposite. This is mirroring us, and that's not.
Oh, okay, that's what.
And I don't know how. Like I said, we'll learn. So these are our topics. Right here. Can you pause this? It says we're going live.
Hey, everybody.
All right. In one more minute, we'll be ready to go because then we can at least go live on Instagram.
Okay. If we go live, turn it a little bit more. So there. No,
Yeah.
that's too much. Okay.
That's a nice picture. LMM, right?
We'll make it. Yep.
All right. Let me do here. Okay. Let's do better next time. You are now live. Hello, everyone. We're telling the fellas you started live. Hello, everyone. We are going live. This is Attorney Hughes, the Father's Advocate. I have a special guest. It looks like we don't have anybody here yet. So this is Mr. Reginald Lewis. Oh, okay. So by Naya's there. Hello, Naya. Could you do me a favor, Naya? Can you see if you can check out if we're live on YouTube? Hello. Can you check to see if we live on YouTube, please? Since this is both of our first time trying to do this. And we
Learning curves.
A big time learning curves. Hello, Mr. Reggie.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, sure. Thank you. And I presume you can hear us clearly. Is that right? Okay, we just wait. And we're just going to wait also. Just turned 6:45. I like that. You told our folks?
No, I'm not.
There was some
No,
folks.
I'm going to send it out after the recording.
Give me need to be on.
I can text some people.
Yeah, tell them get on so we can
Instagram.
yeah, we
I'm
can
send
ask
it to
questions.
Instagram or
It doesn't really matter at this point, really.
it's on YouTube too.
Oh, there she is. So Naya Bassi. Okay, great. Okay, thank you, Naya. I appreciate it. We are going to just wait for other folks. I do know there are folks that's actually going to log on. So hopefully we can get these folks. And we're just going to wait a little bit before we get started. Oh, this is my first time on YouTube. I'm so psyched. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's cute. Okay.
This is exciting, huh?
It is exciting. It's a little, just a tiny bit frustrating because I'm learning, but it's part of anything, you know.
Hmm.
I'm sorry. You got to learn. You got to crawl before you walk, right?
You know how I say it. Bad
Bad
before
before
you
you
good
good
and
and
good
good
before
before
you
you
great.
great. I like that. I'll say that. I remember it. Okay. Oh, okay. Blessed to be blessed has joined. Thank you. Sent request to be live. Oh, view request. Okay. Go live. Okay. Hello, blessed to be blessed. Hi. Thank you for joining. We're going to just wait till we get two more people. We're also live on. Oh my God. Emma, we favorite girl. What is she that?
You accept them to be.
I accepted you. So do you want to join in the discussion?
No, I didn't know it was like that. I mean, technology is off the chain, yeah.
Yes, it is. And I did not know that either. So you're part of the broadcast now.
Please reject me. Let me figure it out. Hold on.
I don't know how to tell you. What thing?
Over there. There.
Oh, she's off. Okay. All right, you're off. But thank you for joining. And if you can let everyone else know, I miss you. If you can let everybody else know, we're just gonna keep waiting till we get some more folks on before we get started. Okay. All right.
I'm excited. How about you?
I am. This is fun. This is actually
I got a lot of good information for you, by the way.
Okay. I'm looking
Why
forward
are my eyes closed?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. This is exciting, even though we're still waiting for folks to come on. I thought I was gonna be a lot more nervous than before. I think the more you do this, the more it gets more natural to you. You know what I mean? Okay. Oh, she said we're speaking low. Why are you guys so low? We're talking low? Is that what you're saying?
You may have to turn your microphone up.
I'm not do that.
Turn your volume up on your own.
Okay, that's volume. That's not my. Uh-oh. Let's see. You are not low. Okay. Someone else said, well, someone else on YouTube said we're not low. So maybe it's your volume. Can you hear us at least? I hope so. Oh, yes, she can hear us. Okay, good. Okay. So we've been on for about maybe 6 minutes. You want to get started in about another minute or two?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I need all the time we can get.
Okay. And if you guys know anybody else that may benefit or wanted to join but maybe forgot, if you can just let them know, because the information we think is helpful and it's good. So If we can spread it to everybody, that'd be great. So we just give it a couple more minutes. Are you able to, are you able to see those things?
Barely.
Okay, now read them out. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, you are not low. Okay. Okay, we're going to get about another minute and then we're going to go ahead and get started.
I'll put it on my Facebook page.
Yeah, I think it's, this is shameful. Oh, okay, Denise. Hi, Denise. She said hi, Reggie.
Hey,
I
Denise.
said hi. Um, I'm, I clearly don't know what I'm doing, but this is funny because it's actually well, on Facebook as well.
Oh, but I just advertised it on Facebook.
Okay. All right, you ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right, guys. This is Attorney Hughes, the Father's Advocate, and I'm joined today by my good friend, Mr. Reginald Lewis. He is the owner and founder of LMM. He's going to tell you a little bit about what that is, and we're going to discuss the status of the Black family and solutions that we can possibly implement to improve it. You want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Okay, everybody. Welcome and thank you for tuning in. My name is Reginald Lewis, born in Florida. Actually, I'm a country boy by heart, moved to the city. So I have experience in both areas. Um, since I moved to Atlanta, I have a landscape company, which I currently have, and we employ about 8 African American young men. And so I deal with a lot of young men. And, so I'm pleased to talk about this topic because that's one of my passions is really to, help our people. I also am the co-founder of Urban Spice Magazine, which is also another institute that proudly shares information to the community about the topics and things that we're talking about tonight. So it's all about helping people and creating dialogue, which I think we need, more of, because we talk amongst ourselves, but we really don't have platforms, where there's a lot of positive dialogue. So hopefully tonight you'll enjoy some of the dialogue. Um, you guys, some of you know me, some of you don't, but I just keep it real. So, some of the words that come out of my mouth, just it may sting a little bit, but it'll be helpful.
Okay, all right, super. Okay, so before we get started, the way I kind of want to do it is talk a little bit about the status of the Black family, and then want to kind of go into different things that might have contributed to the status. Um, so one of the things we know for certain is that we have a lot of single family heads of household, which, in my opinion, that is the opposite. That's not how it actually was created. And if you look from a Christian perspective or Islamic perspective, because I'm familiar with both of those faiths. But from a religious perspective, it should be a man and a woman, mother and father. In our community, what we have is a lot of single mothers who are the head of households. And as a result, we have mothers raising both men and women. And there's a lot of argument that women can't raise men and they're raising them to be soft or domesticated. I know this is something really Reggie is really passionate about. So I think we're going to talk about that. Not 18, 19 just joined. Thank you. No, thank you. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But in addition to that, what we have found is that the single mothers, not only are they working both as the mother and the father, the child themselves is not benefiting from a balanced relationship. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And so what is also happening when you have these fatherless homes, we are seeing that statistics says that young people that are raised in single family homes and the fathers are not there, there's a high rate of suicide, a high rate of drugs, a high rate of criminal activity, a high rate of teenage pregnancy, high school dropout, and homelessness amongst young people. And that is what's happening in our community, not to mention mental health. when both parents are not in the household. And when I say both parents not in the household, that doesn't necessarily mean they actually have to live together. Ideally, that is the way it should be, but it's when the father is not there. And so the statistics are saying that this is what's happening to our children. And of course, children grow up to be adults. You got children who have all these issues and they become adults, and it just becomes a cycle. And our communities and our families, they're suffering as a result of it. And so as a father's advocate, it is my position. I am greatly passionate about people that look like me, my community, because I'm affected by that. And so I think we need to get the fathers back in the home. And so if we look at statistics and believe it, it clearly says that fathers need to be back there. So do you agree with that?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, it makes a world of difference.
Okay. So I want to find out, like, before I ask questions, what do you think about as a whole the black family, and ideally, what do you think is going on with the black family, the status of it?
Well, me personally, I've, lived a life long enough to where, people were married, people didn't get divorces in our community. They would separate, but they wouldn't get divorces. And typically the father was in the home. So I watched it evolve from, having a neighborhood full of mothers and fathers and kids to, in the 80s and the 90s. Now the separation of the family started, and it just grew further and further apart, and it's still growing apart. And nobody seems to have a solution to bring it back together. So I think it's strategically done, my personal opinion, to really keep black people struggling and in place, and just systematically done, because me personally, I know that we're God's chosen people. A lot of people may agree with that, may not agree with that, but research has shown that the 12 tribes of Israel are us.
Okay, okay. We've been deep,
and so, I don't mean to get deep right away, but, just for your information, and you can do your own research. The world is against, it's not just the United States.
Okay.
It's the world. We're the most hated human on earth, the black man.
Okay.
And what have we done to be in that position? Okay. And so everything that we're going to talk about tonight, I think is being systematically put in place to separate us, because when we have our queens and the kings together, we're powerful people. Okay. And I think the world is really intimidated by that.
Okay. I was not expecting that. You just jumped right in right away, right? So, okay, that's fine. Okay. Now, you said you don't think that there seems to be a solution, but that's why we're here. So do you have some things that you think we can implement and do better that can get us back to where we know we can be?
Well, when we first started talking about this,
okay.
We talked about many different subjects and why we're at the position we're at. And I was like, wow, we talked about a lot of great things.
Yeah.
But what is a good closing and a good solution to all this? So I did a little research while I was working out, doing some landscaping today. And this is what I found.
Okay.
We didn't talk about God.
Okay.
We didn't talk about what his institute means when it comes to man and woman.
Okay.
And it clearly states in the Bible our roles, what we're supposed to be doing, and how we're supposed to do it. And I don't want to just quote God's word. So I'm gonna just pull it up for you. I was gonna close with this, but I think it'll be a great here we go. It says, humans were created with the intent, and I'm gonna read it slowly and kind of digest it a little bit. Humans were created with the intent of abundant living. Now let's just think about that.
Okay.
Are we living abundantly?
Are you asking me that?
I mean, as a culture, when you look out Do you see people living abundantly? No.
I would say no.
No. So the Bible says we're supposed to live abundantly. I'm
Okay.
not going to preach right now, but
I think we already started preaching.
let's see. Okay. So now it says fruitfulness and growth, multiplication and expansion. Okay, let's stop right there.
Okay.
So we're supposed to be fruitfulness and growth, multiplication. So that means that we're supposed to multiply. Some people say it be fruitful and multiply. Multiply says that in the Bible. So probably most people on this, podcast have kids. So you've been obedient in that area.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna keep it real. The reason we're not being abundant is because we were disobedient in another area.
Okay.
So it says be fruitful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in that being fruitful, we're supposed to be abundant. So we have to stay together in order to be abundant. And that's the problem. We're not staying together. We're producing kids.
Okay.
We're being fruitful. We're growing, but we're not getting the reward because we are getting a divorce. When the word does not speak of leaving your mate once you have a child. And we're going to get into that. I'm not,
Okay.
I know it's heavy. It's food for thought. You may agree, you may disagree. As well as structure and organization are all part of God's plan.
Okay.
So structure.
Okay.
We're not just out there having babies. We come together as man and woman, and we have a child, and we live abundantly. How long?
You asked me that?
Forever.
According to
God's word.
we stay together forever.
Forever.
Gotcha.
So, again, how many of us stay together forever?
So do you think that's the solution?
The only solution, yes.
Okay. So that, I know you want to do that at the end. I'm actually taking notes, so that's what I'm doing. So, all right, I got it. You did start off with a bang right away for sure. So I want to ask a few things, because while that might be the solution, why are we here now? And then I have to just play kind of like the devil's advocate, because, that's God's word. But then you have other people who may interpret that completely different. Maybe because that's just the way they interpret it. It also could be because maybe they are atheists. Maybe they don't believe that.
Right.
When I read that, I've heard that before, read it. I always look at that means be fruitful and go multiply. That means have more children. That's what most people look at, is just go make more children. And you addressed it. You said, we are growing as a people in terms of population. We are making more babies. We're doing that, but we're not even together because the marital rate is very low compared to many years ago. And then you got heads of household are usually single. Well, I would say usually, but there's a lot of single mothers. And you do have some single fathers that are head of household. And then you're right, those that do get married, they get divorced. So, but anyway, let's just try to pull back a little bit. So like, there are a few categories that I did a little research too, that kind of address or folks have said is concerning about the status of the Black community or with the Black family. And one of them is the church. I've heard a lot of folks talking about the church as having some input in the status, and not necessarily a good thing. And you read something from the Bible, but can you do you have an opinion about how the church may have impacted, good or bad, the Black family?
You really want me to answer that question?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Okay, y'all.
Well, I'm just going to keep it real.
Okay.
Being raised a Jehovah's Witness, after I became an adult, I joined the Baptist church and then Methodist and a couple churches. So a very religious person, have been exposed to a lot of different religions. So what I've seen in the church is that it's another institution that keeps the family apart. instead of together. Your typical sermon is not about marriage, living life abundantly. It's about passing the plate around and, you know, having you put your 10% in the basket so the preacher can drive a Bentley, get a 2 or 3 jets, all of this stuff. And so it's statistically, if you go to any black church, it's probably what, 80%, 60%, 70% single women. And it's done intentionally because women make more money these days, So now the woman can contribute 10% of her salary, which is, they're making more money. So now the church can get fed through the single women. So what does the pastor do? He gives you King Jesus.
Okay, what does that mean?
Just sit back. Boaz is on the way. You just keep reading your Bible, keep tithing, put a special offering in, and God is going to deliver your Boaz. Well, Boaz was for another person. You see what I'm saying? So now, instead of him having a marriage session, how we can, as single people, come together and be fruitful and live in a life of abundance, I don't hear that sermon. So I think, a lot of the pastors are intentionally feeding the women just wordplay to keep them coming to church year after year after year after year after year after year, and all they need is Jesus. All I need is Jesus too, but it's just wordplay. You hear women say, "Oh, how you doing today? Oh, I'm highly blessed, highly favored." The word says you're supposed to live life abundantly.
Okay.
But you're single, and you've been single for 10 years. How you living life abundantly when you're looking for a man and you want to be loved and be happy and all of this? So how are you living life abundantly? How are you highly blessed and highly favored, and you've been single for 10 years, but you want someone to love?
I got a question.
Yeah.
How is that relevant? I have an idea, but I think it would be behoove for me not to ask this question. You're saying that the church keeping women single.
Yes.
And they're keeping them tithing, so they're getting rich off of women.
Yeah,
and they're getting rich off of women, and women are, you're telling the women, just keep hoping, just keep praying. Boaz is going to come. And while you're doing all of that, hoping and waiting, go ahead and feed me so I get my Bentley. That's what you're saying, right?
And next time you go to church, just pay attention.
Okay.
Don't take it from me.
Okay.
And it's not every church.
Okay.
I'm just a lot of churches.
Denise. Best buddy. Okay, so my next question is, you have men that are single. And then the biggest question is how what you're saying relates to the status of the Black family. I can personally kind of tie that, but I want to hear it from you, and I think they may want to as well.
How does it tie in for men?
Well, okay, they're men, they're Black men that are also single, and they are some that go to church. Mm-hmm. So tell me how does what you say relate, and then bring it all home to the status of the Black family.
Well, I think Black men are single by choice.
Do you not think Black women are single by choice?
No.
Okay, why?
No.
Okay.
I think most Black men, if they really wanted a lady in their life, mm-hmm. there's plenty to choose from.
Okay.
It's an abundance.
Okay.
It's not that for men, according to society.
Okay.
So, I think most Black men, the truth be told, are single by choice for various reasons. Maybe they want to take some time to work on themselves like I did. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's very rewarding, and a lot of times if you're dating while you're working on yourself, you're being interrupted on certain things and goals that you're trying to achieve if you have a woman in your life. So sometimes it's good to be alone. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Especially for a man, because a man needs to find himself.
Okay.
A man needs to discover who he is, because a man He lives for purpose. And if you don't know what your purpose is, you're not really being a man.
But does that not apply to women?
No. No, women don't live for purpose. Men live for purpose.
Okay. But
I mean, it may be called something else, but that's what drives a man. Is he has to have a reason to live.
okay, we do need to move on, but I'm just maybe we'll come back to that topic because
Okay.
I feel like a lot of women that are single, some purposefully and intentionally, and they may say the same thing, I need to work on myself, but you don't agree that that's the thing.
Oh, definitely. Women need to work on themselves as well.
And if they're doing that, does that mean that they are being single while they're doing that? Is that not the same thing?
I mean, I believe everybody needs to take some time to themselves.
Okay.
You know.
And then how does that relate to the status of Black families?
Well, if you are a they have something they call damaged goods.
Right. Yeah.
If you're damaged goods, and most of us are, because we've been hurt, we've been cheated on, we've been either lied to, we've been abused, we've been harassed, we've been put down. All of us have suffered from all of these things. So everybody has some type of damage.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
So now, if you're damaged goods and you never take the time to repair the damage, then it's just going to get worse and worse. And now you bring that to your next relationship, and it goes well for 2 or 3 years, but then the real person shows up.
And then, are you also saying you are damaged and you're making babies, and then it becomes
absolutely? It's just the list goes on.
I got you. All right, I want to say hello to Adrienne Vernon. Hello.
What's up, Adrian?
And then Naya is agreeing with you. Naya, she said, that's not the order of things. Men live for purpose, a real man. Okay. You got a lot of good comments. Okay. So now tell me, how do you think the welfare system, like food stamp, government housing, medical insurance has... Okay, go ahead.
You got some water. But what was the question again?
Okay. Do you think the welfare system, and that being like food stamp, government housing, medical insurance, even what is it, like TANF and Section 8, do you think in it, and that's still food stamps and housing, but do you think that has played a part in the negative
demise of the family?
Of the Black family? Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, tell me how.
Well, again, you can have all these things.
Okay.
Like I said, I was born in the country. So in the country, we have a fish fry on Fridays. Everybody in the community comes around. And as kids, you get to listen to grown folks' conversation.
Okay.
So I remember hearing people say, girl, just get you a baby. And you can get welfare. You can get Section 8. Girl, I got Section 8. I got food stamps. I got medical. I got all that covered. And I don't have to work for 18 years. And I was like, what?
Wait, you heard that?
Yes. At the fish fry. Women sharing this information with other young girls.
As a kid, you heard that?
Yes, as a little kid.
Okay. So that's one aspect. Is there another aspect you think that has affected, that the welfare system has affected?
Well, again, it's systematically done to keep the man out of the house, because you cannot have all these assistance with food stamps, Section 8, and all that, and have a man. Okay.
So what you're saying is quite common, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I at some point, I do want to circle back to that, because you need housing, you need food.
Yeah.
But you think that has contributed to the demise of the Black family?
Who are living in these houses? Women and who?
Children. Okay. What about education? Do you think education has affected or created some demise of our community?
Absolutely.
Okay, tell me how.
Well, we talked the other day about women being overeducated over men.
Okay.
And so my father was a principal. My mother was a teacher. So I'm quite familiar with the education system. And, I guess probably about the in the 70s and 80s, there was a big push for, the family got together. The grandmother wasn't college educated, but everybody got together. They wanted to make sure that their kids went to college.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a bigger push for the women rather than the men, because I think the men, I don't know for a fact, but thinking back, most of the men had to work and help the family and provide for the family. And they sent the women to college rather than sending the man to college. They would send him to trade school,
Okay.
to learn how to be a, mechanic and that was just perfect for a man.
Okay.
He could take care of his family.
So
children.
he was pushed to do trade, and women were pushed to do other things.
Yeah. So, but it resulted in women. It was a push, and women became more overeducated over men. So now, a lot of women have master degrees, doctorate degrees, and so they're making, $150,000, $200,000 a year. Where if they're married or they're in a relationship, their husband may be a mechanic, which is both of them are great jobs. But she's making 200 and he's bringing home 60 or 70. That's a problem.
Why? Why? Why is that a problem? And the biggest question.
I'm not saying for everybody.
Okay.
But for most men, it may be fun and fine at first, but it weighs in on a man because as a man, you want to provide for your family. You know what I mean? You come in the world, most men have a vision.
Mm-hmm.
And then they meet a woman and start a family, and the vision becomes the family's vision.
Okay.
A lot of times the black man doesn't have the provision to meet his vision.
And the provision being the money.
The money.
Okay.
So now his wife has the provision, but she don't have the vision. Okay. So now it causes friction because look, honey, I just need you to sign for this $50,000 van. I want to start a courier business, but my credit's not strong enough, and this is for the family, and she's reluctant. I got to think about it. I don't.
Is that not?
I don't know.
Okay, is that not a reasonable response?
Yes, it's very reasonable.
So, well, then what's the issue?
If you become a partner, mm-hmm. man and woman, and you want to do what God said, live life abundantly, mm-hmm. then I think you guys need to learn how to work together. If you don't be the provision, take your resources and help him become the breadwinner. You know what I mean? Now he can finance his own vision. But don't just sit back and you're stockpiling money. And I hear people say the most silliest thing in the world, his money is our money and my money is my money.
I've heard that.
That's a real thing.
And I don't agree with that.
That's a real thing. But people, they say it jokingly, but it's a real thing in households. And it causes friction between man and wife because he looks at that type of woman. You're not understanding. You're not on my side. You're not on this. So that's when the man starts to be like, you know what? The secretary at work, like, how was your day?
And the infiltration starts.
She's oh, what did you say? So now she's taking the interest and she's understanding what he wants from his wife, but she's not giving it to him. And before you know it, they see each other every day. They go out to lunch. Before you know it, they done had an affair. And it all started because in his eyesight, they couldn't come to an agreement when she had the provision to see the family vision. She just didn't believe in the vision.
I see. So Adrian, he says it's simple. When the man makes money, he provides for many. When the women make money, they go in, don't need a memo. Oh, interesting. They go in and I don't need a memo. Okay, Adrian, that might be the case with.
And me and Adrian talk a lot, so yeah.
Okay, that may be for some. Not all, but
Yeah,
that may
yeah,
be for some.
yeah.
I also believe with the education system, when there was a push, and I remember, and you and I did talk about this, when there was a push to educate black women over black men, and I remember there was a episode like on 60 Minutes or 2020 something, and it was like maybe 4 or 5 black girls and their mothers, and the mothers, they were married, so these girls, they were actually they had both mom and dad at home, and the moms were asked, what do you know, what are your concerns about your daughter? And they were saying, well, my daughter's going to college because I don't think that my daughter's going to be able to find a husband to take care of her. So there was a push for black women, girls, to become black professional, educated women, and arguably independent women. And then I just remember as a young person, I had to have been in my 20s, I just kept saying to myself, well, what are we doing about the black boys? Like, black boys deserve to be going to school as well and getting education. You said nothing. But I think one of the things behind it was that at the time it was always boys had this, boys had that, boys had the outlet, boys had the sports, boys had this. And I think at some point it was this push. Girls had always been regulated to do stuff in a home or do stuff that was acceptable for women. When women can do more than that, women can be engineers, women can be doctors, women can be all that stuff. But what I think what happened, at least for our community, I don't think we had the foresight to see that by pushing women to do all these things and not pushing our boys, you're pushing them out of I don't want to say eligibility, but you're pushing them into a certain position, because just like you said, if a woman has, if an educated woman or whoever it is, she got a $200,000 in credit scores, is really good, and her husband, who she probably really adore and love, is only making $60,000. For a lot of women, that says you're not equally yoked. You know that old saying, and I don't think a lot of people even recognize what that means. But that they might say, well, we're not even in the same bracket, not necessarily financially, but even academically.
Right.
And that was one of the things that the moms were saying, is that my daughter's going to school to be this, and we don't have enough men, black boys, that are going to be this either. And I remember at that time there was a big old thing talking about the extinction of the black man, and we talked about that. And I remember that happened in the early '90s. It was always this thing, the extinction of the black man, because it was the crack epidemic. A lot of black guys were going to prison or in jail, or it was drive-by shootings were really, really big. So I think that education system, it pushed us as black women to actually be smart and get, do the very best we can, live to our potential. And I think we just didn't realize and didn't foresee that by doing this and not pushing our boys, you're pushing us away from each other. And I think that's something is happening. But I do think, although there was this push, not from our perspective, our community, I don't think that was the intention. You keep saying it's intentional, and I'm curious what you mean and where that intention came from. Yeah. But I think when our mothers and even our fathers were telling our girls to go to college, I don't think the intention was push our girls so high up in education that we push them away from our men. So I think that is a consequence that we didn't think about. Yeah. Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. So how about the jail and the prisons? I mean, that's a no-brainer. How has that affected our community?
Again, it's systematically put in place. You take opportunity out of our community, and what are people going to do? Men are born survivors. We're going to figure out a way to feed our family. We're going to figure out a way to provide for ourselves, even if it comes to illegal activity. And this is what a lot of people have turned to. And we also talked about, what motivates people to do all these things.
Okay.
And we just talked about evolution of technology, music, and just today we talked about the lyrics of music, how it changed, how rap started as something you go to I'm aging myself a little bit, blue light in the bay, or you go to the park on Sunday and the DJ scratching it, everybody having fun and dancing. Ain't nobody shooting and fighting. You know, when Sugar Hill Gang came out and all of that, and LL Cool J, and you know, what was his name, Big Daddy Kane. You know, people were just having fun.
Yeah.
But as music evolved, it started getting violent. And so now, if you look at the average kid, they have headphone sets listening to violent music, even at the age of, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, you don't take your kid outside and pop him on the butt and tell him to shut up anymore. What do? You put some earphones in his ear, and they're listening to all of this crap, this mess. And so it's feeding the mind.
So are you saying that technology is replacing the parent and discipline? Is that something you're also saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, there is no discipline anymore. That's why, you know, you don't have me and my partner Terrell was talking one day. And how do you teach a boy to respect something when he don't have respect for something? How do you teach him to respect it?
Mimic, you live the life. So
no.
Okay, go ahead then.
You pull a belt out and whoop his behind until he learns what respect means. Because when you're disrespectful, there are consequences, and they're harsh consequences. And so now, you know, grown folks are talking, and you just sit there and listen, because if you don't, you might get punched in the mouth back in the day. So now it's against the law to touch your kids almost. You know, the school doesn't have any authority over the kids. The kids got authority over the students. So now there's no respect for the law, for the elders, for the teachers, for anybody. Nobody's respecting anybody. And when you don't have respect in a community, it's chaos. And that's what's going on right now. You look at the news, the guy just hijacked the bus the other day, shot somebody. No respect. With 17 people on the bus, he had no respect for anybody on the bus. Now, how many whoopings do you think he got?
Probably not. Denise Williams said, "Get that belt." Okay. All right. So I want to move along, but there's two topics, because there's a whole lot of stuff that I actually, when I researched, that may have contributed to the demise of the Black family. But two topics I definitely want to talk about, and we talked about it, and I know one of these is you're real passionate about. The first one is modern fathers versus traditional fathers, and I know you got a mouthful to say about that. And then single mothers, and of course I have a lot to say about that. So I want to hear your point, and then from there we can talk about solutions.
Modern day fathers versus. All I can do is shake my head. Okay. Y'all bear with me. Again, you don't have to. It's just dialogue. It's just, you know, it's just dialogue. So it's what is my personal experiences in life. What I've noticed, and I'm a people's watcher, you know, I watch people. I was a DJ, so I motivated people, you know, to do whatever I wanted them to do. So I know how to do that, and I know how to watch people. I know how to get a reaction. I'm an influencer. You know, I can tell people what to do, and they don't even question it. They do it because I've learned how to do that. So I pay attention. So to answer your question, what I've seen is from the modern man in the house, the roles are kind of switching.
Okay.
They're taking on more of a nurturing, domesticated, I call it being soft, approach to being a man, which definitely doesn't work for me. I think I told you about my experience. I went home to visit my daughter in Florida, and I pull up in the driveway, and she's at the top of a ladder, changing the floodlights at her house. And guess what? Her boyfriend was holding the ladder.
Okay.
What in the world?
Oh, now you said a Mitch approach. You agree?
Yeah. So men, you know, and the Bible talks about, you know, these things as well. And so the women are be like, just forget it. I'm tired of waiting. I'm just going to handle it myself. And they're doing things, what I call that are male role things. Like, you know, I'm a landscaper, so I go out early in the morning. And you know what I see?
What?
And some of the ladies on here can attest to this. Who takes out the garbage on garbage day? If you got two boys in the house and a mom, a single mom.
The boys.
No.
Okay.
The mother.
For me, that doesn't make sense.
I see it all day, and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm not speaking to her, but to myself, I'm like, your boys don't take the trash to the road.
Mm-hmm.
She takes the trash to the road, gets in her car, and goes to work. And the boys on the back porch smoking weed. So this is the things that I've observed.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look around, you'll probably see the same things. People have kids in the house, and the mom, whether she's married or single, is taking the trash to the road. So the genders are starting to switch place. The men are becoming softer, and the women are becoming harder. So now, how do you fix that?
I want to.
Or do you need to fix it?
Well, okay, that's the question. But I do want to add something. So when we talked about this, one thing we said is that it used to be a time when in the traditional roles that we talked about is that men would take a really hands-off approach to raising children. Their attitude was like, I pay the bills, I go to work, I buy the food so your mama can cook it. Your mama's the nurturer, I'm the provider. And what has happened from that a lot of times is that a lot of young men, well, they're boys and they become men, they don't understand or don't understand what love is or affection. They just know my role is simply to provide versus the ability to just show emotions and love. And I've done a few podcasts and I talked to a lot of men, and they're saying like there's this emotional disconnect with a lot of men, and that for that reason, what you call domesticated, it's not all bad. Like, a dad changing diapers, a dad helping the child with
no, that's not what I mean by domestic.
Well, so, but what the statistics do
that's
see.
Just helping your wife change diapers.
Okay, but what
I changed some diapers.
Okay, but what I'm saying is what statistics is showing is that a lot of men, in fact, black men over any other race of men, they are the ones that are actually more involved in their children's lives than any other race of men. And that's more common nowadays than before. And I know that's something that you hear this, that is indicative of modern fatherhood.
Well, when I not to interrupt you, but I just have to interject this point. When I say men are becoming domesticated or soft, I'm not talking about being nurturing to a child.
Okay.
I'm talking about in other areas, of the household.
Okay. So you're not opposed to dads being nurturing.
Oh, absolutely.
And like maybe doing the daughter's hair.
It's our child. We're supposed to nurture our child.
I just want to make sure. Because I personally think it's a good thing. I actually interviewed some folks before. They actually have an organization out of Maryland. And they were talking about that very same thing about how the men were not emotionally attached to their children. And they talked about intimacy. And these men actually were looking at intimacy as something little with the opposite sex, like sex. But you have intimacy with your children, and that intimacy is like dad is combing the little girl's hair. That's a form of intimacy. Or dad is talking to his son about going out on a date. That's a form of intimacy. Mm-hmm. And I know traditionally, dad will talk to his son more so than the daughter.
Dad talked about.
Well, I said you okay with it, right?
No, we did talk. We talked about.
Okay, all right.
And the traditional father doesn't discipline, but the old school dad, mom didn't discipline. She told you wait till your dad gets home.
Okay. I'm on that page. Okay. So now the other one is the single mothers. That has gotten so much, a lot of talk, mostly bad. But I want to hear what you say about single mothers, and how it has contributed to the demise, or if it has. And this is a topic that you and I have talked about. So I want to know what you think.
Well, tell me your part first.
I don't agree with it. I just say
You don't agree with single?
absolutely not. I
Being a
was a
single
single
mom?
no. I actually was a single mother, both in undergraduate and law school. I do not agree with it. I don't think that's how God actually created. I was a single mother not because I chose to be one. I was a single mother because I was forced to be one. Um, and the thing is, when you are a single mother, you don't have the option or the discretion to do what you want to do. If the child has to go to school and the child has to go to the doctor, and you got this stuff to do, you got to make a way. But I think it's not good for the child. It's not good for you, and it's not fair. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily agree with it. But I will say is that a lot of the negative backlash that women, particularly Black women, have received, I don't think it's appropriate. And more importantly, single mothers become single mothers because the fathers have chosen to leave. Now, I represent fathers, and I do understand there are times when the dads are really trying to get in their children's lives. I do understand that. But, and sometimes these moms can be difficult. I've said it before, I never knew um, that moms actually purposefully and intentionally keep their children from the dad until I start doing this work. But for a lot of us who are single, who are and were single mothers, it was not a choice that we made.
Mm-hmm.
And while we might get the backlash, we are the ones that are raising your children, and you're out doing whatever it is you want to do. And I just don't think it's appropriate. And while there is this big thing saying that women can't raise men, you and I talked about that, and I understand. And I got four brothers, and I understand from a man's perspective what that means. But don't criticize a Black woman who is raising boys when you're tied behind as the father have chosen to do something else because you think the child is an option.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, like I have a video that I've done where the dad is saying he works, he works, he works. That's not good enough. And I'm gonna let you talk about my client. I had a client who said children understand love, Time. So while you're working, that child does not see you as loving. That child might have a roof over his head, but if you're not in the household, does it really matter?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think the backlash that Black women and Black mothers rather uh, are receiving from raising children on their own is fair, nor is it appropriate, especially when the fathers of these children are not in the home. So, and I don't know if it has. I think it might have. You ready to say something, aren't you?
No, I'm listening.
And
I'm
I think
listening. I'm listening.
it may have contributed to the demise in some ways.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it may have because when you're trying to do it all by yourself and you just can't because no person can do it all by yourself. Some things are left unchecked. Some things will go under the radar. Some things um, can actually go without being taken care of, and it can have some uh, catastrophic effects. Naya said, "My single mom is amazing." I think your single mom is probably really great. I support that, Naya. Absolutely. Um, but anyway, what say you?
Well, shout out to all the single moms out there.
Okay.
Really, you're doing a great job. Um, Respectfully, um, don't take things that I say personally on this subject, but I just have to keep it real.
All right, keep real.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We just need to stop being single moms.
Okay, I love it.
Okay.
Talk to me.
Um,
Talk to
women,
me.
women do what they want.
Okay.
Men do what they can. And so what we need to do is start teaching our young girls in the community, teaching our daughters, our grandkids, how not to become single moms.
Okay.
I think it's just, a lack of education sometimes, not all times.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are going to be kids. Things happen. It happened to me. It happens to a lot of people.
Okay.
But I think in society today,
mm-hmm.
there's enough information out there that we can share with people that we're responsible for. Young girls, young guys, on the right thing to do when you go out to a party or you're out with your girlfriend on a date. I drill my granddaughter. She's 16 years old. She got a boyfriend. I drill my granddaughter on every date, everything, because the last thing I want her to do is Granddad got something to tell you. I'm
Mhm.
gonna just hang up the phone because I've spent countless of times teaching her, you know, to be accountable.
Okay.
You have decisions and then you have consequences.
Okay.
So we have to teach our kids how to make better decisions. And it's something very interesting that me and Adrian talk about all the time.
Okay.
You know what the difference between a woman and a man is?
Other than anatomy?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Women are emotional and men are logical.
Okay. We talked about this too.
So I teach my granddaughter, my daughter, the females coming up, because the ones that are already single moms, there's nothing you can do with that. But we can stop this at the next generation
Okay.
by teaching women what did Steve Harvey say? Think like
Act like a woman.
act
Think
like a
man.
woman, think like a man. Well, I'm gonna teach you ladies how to think like a man.
So you agree with Steve Harvey?
No,
I'm confused.
no. But I'm gonna teach you some another spin on it. I'm putting another spin on it.
Okay.
This is what I did with my granddaughter. Your emotions. We talked about love and emotions, and that's what women desire.
Okay.
To be loved,
Okay.
to be held, to be protected, to feel like they're the only one, to be honest with them. That's what women desire. It's all emotions. Okay, write that down on the left side of the paper and put a list 1 to 10. Oh, I love him. Oh, he treats me like a king, queen. Oh, you write all those things that how the man makes you feel. Because all of those feelings, men realize that that's one step closer to you being a single mom.
Okay. Explain.
Because men will use your emotions to have sex with you.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a secret. They call it game. Okay? So now I'm going to put you on some other game.
Okay.
So I told my granddaughter, write logic. How much money does your boyfriend make? You're 16. What is your boyfriend's credit score? Logic. Is he a homeowner? Does he have a vehicle? So if you get pregnant, how are you going to take your child to the doctor? Where are you going to live? Where the money going to come from? That's how men think. They think logically.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
So I'm teaching my granddaughter to think logically. Like this man can't, I love him and I really want to, get close to him and I really want to lie to my mama and check into a hotel room and do the nasty. Mm-hmm. But there's consequences with that. But if you understand logic, you're like, wait a minute, no, we can't, you ain't got no job. I got to go to school. Mm-hmm. Like yourself, mm-hmm. My granddaughter wants to be a lawyer. Mm-hmm. So, I can't do that. I can, but it's going to be more difficult because guess what? He ain't going to be around. Mm-hmm. So that's where women miss the ball.
Okay.
They're so emotionally caught up that they're not logically thinking.
All right.
So most women didn't know what their husband's credit score was before they married them or started dating them. Mm-hmm. They just don't. So how you gonna have an abundant life like the Bible said with bad credit?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
So we have to start teaching and educating the next generation so we can stop all this foolery. Because it's just, to me, I'm going to blame it on a lack of education, a lack of experience, a lack of self-discipline. We can teach our kids discipline. We can tell them about the birds and the bees. But when you add logic to it, mm-hmm. it starts to make sense. Because kids going to do what kids do. Adults going to do what adults do. But when you add logic to it, it gives you another thing to think about. Like, nah, okay. I love you, but okay. You need to get a job.
Okay, so that's the perspective of what women need to do so they won't be single mothers. I like that.
Well, what we need to teach the next generation
okay.
coming up. That hasn't reached, there's young women and young men. We need to teach both of them.
Okay, so we talked about that too, because I'm curious, what do we do about now, the ones that are here? But before we talk about that, we're saying this is what we need to teach our girls. What is
Yeah.
there something we need to teach our boys?
Oh, responsibility.
Okay, well,
That,
can you
yeah.
tell us what that looks like and what is that actually?
Well, again, decisions come with uh, accountability.
Okay.
Our kids like accountability. You
Okay.
know, they don't, if they do something, if they get in trouble, they don't take accountability. They blame it on the next person or blame it on that person. So, what I teach my boys is think about what you're going to do because it's definitely coming with consequences.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to jail,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I got two boys, and I told them if you go to jail, do not call your dad to come get you out. Period.
No
Because
matter what.
no matter what, because I did not raise you to go to jail. So you got to figure out. My son was in the entertainment industry. He went to jail, and he called me, and I hung up the phone, and he wrote a song about my dad hung up the phone
Oh my
when I went to jail.
Okay.
So you have to put things in place.
Okay.
So when people do things, they're hard consequences, especially when it comes to boys. You can't, the mothers discipline the boys with emotion. They get mad and they just want to beat them with a broom, hit them with an iron. They just mad, and so they just act out and discipline them through anger.
Okay.
Boys don't care nothing about that.
So how do you discipline? Let's say a mom is going to discipline, like you said, a belt or something like that. How would a dad discipline?
He ain't gonna be mad.
Okay.
When he whips his son, he's not mad. He like, son, you didn't learn this lesson. Mm-hmm. I told you not to do that. Mm-hmm. Now get in there, and I'm gonna have to, discipline you because you disobeyed what I told you to do. Okay. That's logic.
Okay.
Not, oh, you skipped school today. I done told you about, the mother, angry, mad. She's doing what she's just being a woman. That's what women do. That's why a lot of women say, wait till your dad comes home. That's why they do that.
Okay. So that's the generation to come. What about what we have now? We still have babies that are, we still have babies that have been born that are in families.
Pray.
Okay, we can pray, but let's have some logic. Okay. Can we have some logic now?
Okay, about existing single parents. Single moms.
Like,
what can we do with existing single moms?
And these babies that are growing, these children that are.
Well, I just said what we need to do with kids. We need to teach them. Now, what we can do with the current situation is our community needs to come together.
Okay.
And stop being wimps. You got community leaders that have went out, entertainers, basketball players, people who started their own companies are very successful in the community. People who have worked, people who have inherited. So we got resources. Mm-hmm. We got some money to make some changes. Mm-hmm. But everybody either their hands are tied with the entertainers. If you notice, all they can do with their money is buy houses, buy clothes, buy jewelry, and have fun. They can't come and help the community at large.
Oh boy. I don't know how I guess I should have had the phone on airplane mode.
Yeah. But they can't, if you notice, they can't help the community at large because of who they work for. Mm-hmm. So we're going to just push them to the side because we're not going to get any help from them. Mm-hmm. People like myself, I have 8 young men that work for me. I could have went and hired Hispanic guys, mm-hmm. but I've all looked around. I don't see no Hispanic guys hiring Black people. Okay. So I chose to hire my own kind, people that look like me, and I'm a mentor. I'm teaching each and every one of them how to have their own business if they choose to. Mm-hmm. So we as a community have to really come together and stop with the push button thing. You know what the push button thing is?
What is that?
When you come home, you push the button. Your garage door opens, and then your garage door closes. and you're closed off to the rest of the world until you get up the next day.
Okay.
It didn't used to be like that. People had events when I was growing up. Families got together. It made sure the community was good. They had block parties where everybody could come out, and it was a village.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get back to the village.
Okay.
There's no village anymore. Everybody is I.
Okay.
And like you said, women went to college and they became the I independent, don't need no man, don't need nobody, and became a push button person. But they're not living life abundantly like God intended them to live.
Okay. All right. Denise said, great dialogue. Okay, so there's a whole lot more we can talk about, but I think we probably should kind of close down a little bit. What do you
Yeah,
think?
we're gonna have to do this again, because I got a lot more to say.
And
but I hope you guys have um, learned some things tonight. I know, I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of people in my life, and just wanted to share my experience with you guys, and hopefully this was beneficial, and maybe we can start creating a village.
I hope so. And we did learn something from this in terms of a resolution, which is go back to the days of old. Well, we need to be, like you said, have a village. And I like the fact that you're putting burden on both men and women. Like you're saying that women, we are allowing ourselves, I can't say it, well, women allow themselves to become single parents, single mothers. I want to explore that a little bit more because clearly that has affected our community. There's no question about it. I also think it affects the economic status of our community when you have one parent that's taking care of all the expenses.
Mhm.
So in any event, if you guys got any questions, that'd be super. But if not, we are going to go ahead and wrap it up. We've been on here a little bit over an hour. Don't seem like it, does it?
No,
it doesn't seem like it at
just
all.
getting warmed up.
I know. Oh, you had a lot of stuff, man. I like, just so you guys know, we talked ahead of time, and Reggie has some great topics. I agree with him on a lot, even though I think they're kind of extreme sometimes. But there's a lot of I do agree with, and I really want you to kind of get into those topics.
We'll have to do this again.
For sure, man, for sure. But anyway, I want to thank you all for coming in and tuning in. We will do this again, maybe once a month. But we also are doing a lot of other activities in terms of celebrating fathers, representing fathers, trying to bring our community together, changing the negative stereotypes and narratives of the Black community and the Black family. And the way we're doing this is by teaching fathers how to get back in the home using the legal system. It's a bizarre, wild, kind of crazy thing, but I think God gave it to me. And so I'm here. I'm going to let God use me as a vessel. Anyway, you all can check out our podcast anywhere you check out or listen to podcasts. And we are on YouTube at The Father's Advocate. We're also on Instagram, The Father Advocate. And if you have any questions, check us out on our website, which is thefathersadvocate.com. But thank you again for attending. This is just our first monthly live session. We'll be doing this again. And if there's a topic that you guys want us to talk about, let us know. We're here. You good for that?
Yeah, and share.
For sure. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, because what happens, it helps with the algorithm. And we're trying to increase our numbers. Gail, amazing dialogues. Thank you so much. Do you have anything else you want to leave the folks?
Well, I was just waiting. Waiting
for
Sunday is what?
Oh, Father's Day.
Nobody wished us a happy. See, guys, this is what I'm talking about. The women get all the glory, and we're just pushed to the side. So happy Father's Day to all my fathers, and that's it.
Okay. I was going to add something, but you're absolutely right. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, from Attorney Hughes, the Father's Advocate, and from
Mr. Reginald.
Okay, guys, thank you again for tuning in. I hope you guys have a blessed day and blessed evening. And for you fathers, I hope you enjoy your Father's Day. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.